today we're going to try Domino's new New York style pizza and also New York style pizza, because I have a few things I want to discuss about this new release of New York style pizza. The first being that it's not new. I guess maybe you could technically call it new, but I'll get into the details in a second, because really it is just a replacement for Brooklyn style pizza, which they've had, you know, forever. I usually get Brooklyn style from Domino's. I like it. I like the thin floppy crust. I'm a fan. If I'm gonna get Domino's, I will usually get the Brooklyn anyway. And now they're calling it New York style, and there is a very, very, very slight difference that I learned from about an hour of Google searching Domino's employee Reddits and things like that. So if you're a Domino's employee, maybe you can corroborate some of this information if you know, or if you're in on it, because I'm not, of course. This is all secondhand information. But from what I understand, the Brooklyn style pizza, essentially Domino's gets dough balls shipped in pre-made. They're pre-formed dough balls, and they have small, medium, and large dough balls and extra large dough balls for the different size pizzas, right? They get shipped in, and then they take those doughs and spread them out to the edges of the pan to make the pizza. That's it. Now, what the Brooklyn did is it used a smaller dough for a larger pan to spread it out to make the crust thinner. So the Brooklyn was 2 sizes smaller, which means that for a large Brooklyn style pizza, you would have to use a small dough ball to make it. And that apparently led to a myriad of issues. Apparently with Domino's small dough, I guess a lot of franchises don't really order it because many people don't have small pizzas, or they don't have small dough ready, which leads into the other interesting thing about the Brooklyn style is the employees have to learn how to stretch the dough. And I think this is going to be key to this pizza specifically, because the employees really have to quality control how thin the dough is going to be. And there are various things that affect it that I wouldn't have even really thought of until I looked at the Reddit posts. First, it's the coldness of the dough. You know, if you're getting cold dough right out of the fridge, which is what used to happen with a lot of Brooklyn style pizzas, because they didn't have small dough like ready to go for, you know, a pizza, because people didn't order small too much. So they'd usually end up getting cold dough, and they'd have to try to stretch that over a large pan, and it wouldn't really work because it can't be stone cold, otherwise it doesn't stretch right. It has to be left out a little bit to proof, and if it doesn't work. And since not many people were ordering small pizzas or really Brooklyn style necessarily, if you ordered a Brooklyn style, you were most likely going to get not a Brooklyn style, because they wouldn't be able to spread the dough as much as they should, and they would often use a medium dough instead, because they didn't have smalls ready. Now, the New York style is an update, and what it does is essentially change it from being 2 sizes smaller to 1 size smaller. So on the New York now, if you're getting a large New York, which is what this is supposed to be, they're going to use a medium dough ball and spread it out on the large pan to make it a little bit thinner. So essentially, you are technically getting more dough in this New York style. It's less thin than the Brooklyn, which I think is a problem. But what's also a problem, as I explained before, is just employee knowledge. And I don't blame them, because this is a skill you got to learn. Most things, and I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like if you go into Domino's, you can learn to make a pizza pretty quickly. It's not that hard, I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't work there. So I'm sure there's a lot of intricacies and things like that make it difficult. I'm sure it is a hard job because I worked fast food. But I think you can learn to put together the Domino's pizza way pretty fast. But spreading out the dough like that, I feel like that's like a learned technique. That's something you really have to have experience with. It's not something you can just watch happen and then do right away and still have the same consistent quality. I think if you're going to order a Brooklyn style from a Domino's near you, your experience is going to greatly depend on who is making the pizza and how much experience they have with spreading the dough out, which is why we're getting to my New York style large, which should be a medium dough spread out to a large. And as you can see, what I essentially have here is not that. What I essentially have is a medium pepperoni pizza, because this is not really spread out at all and has a prominent crust on the edge. They just cut it into 6 slices to make it seem like it. But a New York style or even a Brooklyn style would not have this prominent crust edge on it. It's supposed to be spread out to be thinner all the way across. And instead what you have here is a slightly thinner medium pizza, essentially. Not a large Brooklyn style. That's my opinion. But that's all that's really separating a New York style or a Brooklyn style from a regular Domino's pizza, is just spreading the dough thinner. That's it. There's no secret technique. There's no new pepperonis. There's no special. I think actually, you know what? To be fair, the Brooklyn style used a different blend of cheeses that use provolone, and this might also use that. So to be fair, that is also there, but there's no special items to it to make it New York style. It's just a thinner crust. They didn't add any ingredients. They didn't add any like sauces. They didn't get a new pepperoni or a new cheese. It's the same stuff. It's just spread thinner, and it's the same exact thing as the Brooklyn style. So really, it's nothing. It's just a Domino's pizza that you can get the same as always. They just changed the name and put out a press release. And since they did that, I thought, you know, it's a good excuse for me to get a Domino's pizza. And I was hoping to get a, you know, better one. At least it looks decent in terms of the cook quality. I'll give them that. But it is definitely not as thin as it should be. I would not by any means call this New York style with that kind of crust and thinness. That's just a regular Domino's pizza. So that's disappointing in that respect, but otherwise it doesn't even really matter. I just got that pizza kind of, you know, as a video prop. It was really an excuse for me to get a pizza because I've been trying not to spend money on fast food because I'm broke. And you know, it's hard to come by some money. So I figured, hey, Domino's pizza, it's only $7.99. It's because it's the same as every other pizza, large one topping pizza. It's $7.99 to pick it up. So I gave it a shot just to make this video and then to kind of complain about it being exactly the same thing. It makes me laugh when a company like Domino's puts out a whole press release about their New York style pizza when they have done literally nothing. Nothing has changed except the guidelines to make the dough 2 sizes smaller is now 1 size smaller. You're still going to have the same issues with the Brooklyn style, with the New York style in terms of employee training and things like that, as you had before, where you're going to end up with not too many actual Brooklyn styles because they're not prepped. It's just, you know, it's the reality of fast food. I don't know if there's any way around it. It's just how it is. So that's that New York style pizza from Domino's, or really Brooklyn style pizza. That's what I would call it. And I will see you all next time.